New York Giants acquiring star tight end Darren Waller for the Raiders. Trade talks going back a year or so, and talks about Waller potentially being in the original Davante Adams deal to Green Bay. Joe Shane and Brian Dable have been looking for big-time weapons to help out their newly extended quarterback.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a trade. Although it's not the trade that we've all been waiting for, it's still a trade, and it is a very unique one at that, and it does involve a New York team. Yeah, it's just not the trade that we've all been waiting for, but in my opinion, it is fairly significant, and it's fairly wild. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications to help the channel grow. And I wanted to give you guys a huge shout out, man, because this channel, for the first time since we've created Mikerophone 3 years ago, has hit 20 million views over the past month. So from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you, the viewer, my family, my team, the man editing this video, and hopefully we can keep pushing. Hopefully the quality improves as time goes on. I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all the support. We're running a giveaway on my Twitter account. If Aaron Rodgers stays with the Green Bay Packers, we're giving away a follower that retweets this tweet $120. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! I have a genuine disdain for the sunglasses industry because they'll sell you a pair of sunglasses, which are like the most fragile thing on earth, for hundreds of dollars. And if you break it, then that's tough luck. It's like the biggest scam of all time. Until I found one particular brand that I am so proud to work with, and that's Shady Rays. Just give me a sec. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers high-quality eyewear for a fraction of the price that you'd expect to pay. Shady Rays sunglasses feature durable frames and clear optics for all of life's outdoor activities. They protect your eyes from the sun, and they have premium polarized lenses that are built to last. But here's the best part. Shady Rays backs every pair with their industry-leading lost and broken replacements program. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So if you're not satisfied with your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a brand new pair or even return them for free within 30 days. And with every order, the Shady Rays Impact Program works with nonprofits worldwide to make an impact on the lives of children and young adults, like building playsets for pediatric cancer patients and creating adventures for young adults with cancer and MS. You and Shady Rays are making an impact together. And look at how much they're hooking up Mike Mafia, man. Right now, when you use my link in the description down below or go to shadyrays.com/microphone and use promo code microphone, when you buy one pair of Shady Rays, they'll give you a second pair for free. That's shadyrays.com/microphone and using my promo code microphone to get a free pair of Shady Rays when you purchase one. And thank you, Shady Rays, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Man, oh man, this is my favorite time of year. All the player movement. There's stuff that you're expecting, and then at the same time, there's stuff that just comes at you completely out of left field that nobody is expecting at all whatsoever. And I would say this is one of those moves. So if you remember, over the past week, we've made videos on both the Las Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants. I went out on a limb and said that the New York Giants made a horrific mistake by extending Daniel Jones and paying him $40 million a year annually. Not because I don't like Daniel Jones, but it's because you're essentially paying Daniel Jones just to see the type of quarterback he becomes. And in the NFL, especially with quarterbacks that have played in the NFL and have been below average for the first 3 seasons of their career, and then when you finally decide to invest in a head coach that has a history of getting the most out of their quarterback, and that quarterback resurrects the QB's career, I think the quarterback owes that team a bit of a hometown discount, at least significantly more than $40 million a year annually. I would have liked to see Daniel Jones's team say, okay, we'll do it for $30 million a year annually. I actually think you could build a contender around Daniel Jones for that amount. But hell, I've been wrong before, and maybe I could be wrong again. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a bad QB, by the way. I'm just saying that I would have some reservations of paying him a more lucrative contract than Dak Prescott just for 1 season of production. But let's put that aside, because at the same time, Daniel Jones performed remarkably remarkably last year. Bear in mind, Sterling Shepard went down with an injury. Kadarius Toney was traded in the middle of the season. Kenny Golladay was, well, trash. Straight up, he's trash. They moved on from him for a reason. He took his bag and he left. And through that, Daniel Jones was able to throw for 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. And that's without mentioning his rushing on the ground with 708 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Fantastic year for a player that had no weapons. He also was able to win a playoff game against a very highly touted opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. Fantastic year to show the New York Giants that, hey, I'm a guy that you should build around. And it looks like the New York Giants are doing just that here. Because on the other side, you have the Las Vegas Raiders, who are currently in the midst of making all sorts of moves. Yesterday, they decided to sign Jimmy Garoppolo to a 3-year deal worth $67 million to reunite him with Josh McDaniels. And to be honest, I thought that was a strange move. Not because I have anything against Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's an above average QB. I think he won't ruin games for you potentially, but I think you also need to surround him with great talent and a remarkable scheme if you want to get the most out of him. It's just when you compare Derek Carr's numbers before Josh McDaniels, which was the greatest year of his career, by the way, when despite the Las Vegas Raiders going through a horrific 2021 where they had to deal with John Gruden's email gate, the Damon Arnett video, and then the Henry Ruggs tragedy. Through it all, Derek Carr was able to put together one of the greatest seasons of his career, throwing for over 4,804 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Now, if you focus on the completion percentage from last year all the way to 2018, you would see that Derek Carr's numbers before Josh McDaniels was essentially the same quarterback. You can make an argument a slightly more talented quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo was. And for that reason, I thought it was kind of strange to extend Derek Carr 10 months ago and then tell him he has a no-trade clause, release him 10 months later. Also, you could pursue a quarterback that Josh McDaniels has some familiarity with that was slightly worse than Derek Carr before Derek Carr had Josh McDaniels as a coach. Of course, Derek Carr was horrible with Josh McDaniels, but one has to wonder, was it him or was it the system? That's besides the point. Both teams are undergoing significant changes, one with Jimmy Garoppolo, and who knows, maybe they draft a quarterback in the NFL draft, and the other with trying to find Daniel Jones as many weapons as possible because he absolutely had none last year. And it looks like they found a way to do that right here. Because according to Tom Pelissaro, they have a blockbuster trade. The New York Giants are finalizing a trade to acquire star tight end Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. Essentially, they're trading a 3rd round pick number 100, to the Raiders for Darren Waller. Now, pick number 100 is what the New York Giants got for Kadarius Toney. So essentially, the New York Giants traded away Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller. New York Giants may have just hooked up the Kansas City Chiefs fat. First by giving them Kadarius Toney, and then secondly by taking away one of the best players in the division in Darren Waller. This is absolutely insane. I mean, I can't believe this because Ian Rappaport even mentions the fact that the Raiders had talks for more than a year centered around Darren Waller, including nearly sending him to the Packers in the Davante Adams trade. Now he heads to the Giants as a key weapon for Daniel Jones. If you remember last year, we did make a video on this, how the Green Bay Packers are about to make a huge trade, put Darren Waller in a Packers jersey on the thumbnail. It didn't end up going down. A lot of you guys hated me for it. I wouldn't blame you. So you can only imagine how Raiders fans feel currently, because back then you were thinking, okay, at least we get Darren Waller and Davante Adams, and the team took a huge step back. And now it looks like you guys are giving up Darren Waller to the New York Giants for absolutely no reason at all. I was doing my best trying to figure out why on earth would they make this deal. I was taking a look at his salary. I mean, when I look at his salary, it doesn't look that bad. In 2023, he gets $11 million. In 2024, he gets $10.525 million. In 2025, he gets $11.525 million. And in 2026, he gets $13.525 million. I mean, don't get me wrong. Technically, he is the highest paid tight end in the NFL. I'm sure at some point that's going to get reset. And maybe it has something to do with him being injury prone. And that's why the Las Vegas Raiders wanted to cut their losses, because Darren Waller hasn't played a full slate of games since 2020, but he played in 9 games last year and he played in 11 games the year before. I can't figure out a rationalization for making this trade. Maybe they think Darren Waller's best years are behind him. He's 30 years old at this point. I don't know. It makes no sense to me at all. And here's the crazy thing. If you try to make this trade in Madden, it wouldn't work. Not that we're big Madden players here, but the fact that you can't make this trade in Madden speaks volumes as to how bad the trade is. I mean, you have Josh Jacobs saying, sad for real. When one of your best players is saying that your organization is being run like poverty, then there's obviously a problem. So obviously for the Las Vegas Raiders, I really don't know what they're trying to do. The only conclusion I could come to is that they're trying to tank at this point. I mean, they signed a quarterback for below market. They are probably trying to have Jimmy Garoppolo mentor a rookie QB this year or next year. I'm not entirely sure, and I feel a lot of empathy for Davante Adams, by the way. But let's talk about the New York Giants. I absolutely love this deal for the New York Giants. Whether Darren Waller is able to stay healthy or not, I think this is a fantastic move for the Giants, and this is coming from a Cowboys fan. It gives Daniel Jones another weapon, someone that he could actually depend on, someone that thrives in run-first attacks like Darren Waller has been with the Las Vegas Raiders throughout his career. So him and Saquon Barkley look like a remarkable combination, and at the very minimum, Daniel Jones has a player that he can rely on moving forward, and I'm a huge fan of that. For the Las Vegas Raiders, man, I just can't figure it out. Like, I don't see a single Raiders fan that is like, yes, we did it! We traded Darren Waller for a third-round pick, especially because tight ends are really difficult to find. So whenever you find a good tight end, you do your best to hold on to him. So I really can't figure out why the hell they would do this. For the New York Giants, I give them an A+ for this. This is a remarkable decision for them. This is a remarkable move for them. For the Las Vegas Raiders, man, I give them a D- or an F. And if you're a Raiders fan, maybe let me know in the comment section down below why the hell they would make this decision. The only conclusion I could come to is if they want to shed all of their salary and start rebuilding from the very top. And I don't think that's the worst idea, but you have Davante Adams on your roster. So are you going to keep him on your roster? You just signed him to a huge contract extension. What's the plan here is what I want to know. You franchise tag Josh Jacobs. You get Davante Adams last year. Your most successful quarterback since 2014 has the best season of his career last year throughout a very tragic season that involved a tragedy with Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett with whatever the hell that weapon incident was, and John Gruden's email gate. You decide to get him a new head coach. You decide to get him Davante Adams, which is his good friend since he was in college. He has one bad year this year. Josh McDaniels says he's done with him 2 games before the season ends. You tank his value. You decide to release him. You get a player that's only slightly as good or slightly worse than him before Josh McDaniels came, just so he could buy into Josh McDaniels' offense, and then you trade Darren Waller, but it's more of a donation. So I don't get it. I mean, if you're trying to rebuild, great, but why franchise tag Josh Jacobs? And then why would you keep Davante Adams if you are trying to rebuild? And honestly, your roster's good enough to contend. So what the hell are you guys doing is what I want to know. If you're a Raiders fan and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, because a lot of times I feel like I have the answers. A lot of times I think I can analyze what's going on, but in this particular case, I have no freaking idea what's going on, and maybe you do. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.